A Buckingham Palace backlash. So who is telling the truth? Hi, morning, Neil. Sean here in the heart of London. I hope you're well. We're inside today. Yes, the weather has taken once again a turn for the worse. Just way too windy. Not great for your hair, is it, when you're out and about? Trying to battle the wind, keep the sound nice for you, and of course find a lovely, appealing backdrop, of course, as we wake up or go to bed, learning all about the latest breaking royal news in the heart of London. But back to your royal story of the day. Now, as we told you a couple of days ago, Her Majesty the Queen, of course, had to pull out on a trip to Ireland, apparently because she felt unwell. And then, of course, there was all this speculation because the previous evening she had hosted a major event over at Windsor Castle, of which we attended. And I did say, I think, and I let people know that Her Majesty looked absolutely wonderful, you know, full of vigour and spring, if you like, and certainly more stamina than me at her age anyway. And given the fact that it was a bit of a late night, a lot of people thought, well, how suddenly has she taken ill? And of course, that started a lot of worries, naturally. Then, of course, there was a press statement out from Buckingham Palace and from Kensington Palace basically stating that Her Majesty the Queen didn't feel particularly well, but she was resting, all that sort of stuff. Since then, of course, it's emerged that Her Majesty spent the evening in, of course, hospital in central London, around about 23 miles away from Windsor Castle. And what I'm finding incredible about this is we did hear this particular story ourselves. You know, there were rumours, as royal watchers often find out, but nobody really could basically say 100% this was the case. Now, what I find strange about this particular story is it's now resulted in a bit of a backlash from certain sections of the media, including the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC. Their royal reporter basically has said, well, why weren't we told the truth? Why Buckingham Palace have decided to try and hide certain truths or facts? Now, it depends on which side of the fence that you feel that you sit on. Now, my personal take on this is simply, well, this. Our gracious monarch is 95 years old. Why shouldn't she be afforded some privacy? Why do we need to be told everything? The way it simply came from the BBC royal reporter guy was simply that, well, you know, Buckingham Palace have lied. It appeared that they were trying to create and stir up some sort of controversy. What I can understand, having spoken to very good sources out at Buckingham Palace, was it was at Her Majesty's request. She didn't want to alarm anybody. Now, obviously, senior members of the British royal family knew exactly where Her Majesty the Queen was on that evening, obviously. And of course, you know, they respected her wishes for it to remain private. What it does sort of throw into the mix really is whether Buckingham Palace should have been a little bit more open about exactly the reasons why Her Majesty the Queen felt unwell. And I don't necessarily think it was so much of a security scare to actually say Her Majesty the Queen, well, was in hospital for the evening. But on the other side of the coin, if this was her specific request for privacy, then of course that must be upheld. As ever, whatever happens within the British royal family, it does appear that some controversy follows through. What I would like to offer, of course, and I think this goes for everybody who watches our channel, is, well, get well soon, Your Majesty. Take some rest and don't really listen to the naysayers. We want you back, fit and well, and hopefully back on your feet, meeting and greeting people, as we all love to see you do. Neil Sean in the heart of London.